everyone. We worship you. Hallelujah. We worship you. Who you are. We worship you. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. We worship you. For who you are. Mm-hmm. 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 Good evening, everyone. Good to see you. If you're from the group, please type your name in the chat. Let me know who's currently seeing me. Let me know who's currently watching. Good evening to you from my side of the world. All right. Good evening to you from my side of the world. I'm Gospel Victor Steven. If you're just seeing me for the first time, and this is our anniversary webinar. I think this will be my first time, going live since I had my infant. I'm just trying to alert those on the group that we're live. So if you're one of us, please let them know on the group that we're live. We're live. We're live. I would wait for only 2 minutes and then we proceed. Today we're going to be learning about feminine communication. Understanding feminine communication. How to speak more feminine, how to be more feminine, how to show up more in a feminine way. Please let me know if you can hear me in the chat. All right. Good evening. Please type your name in the chat if you can hear me clearly. I would like to know if you can hear me clearly. Please let me know if you can hear me clearly, so that I'm sure that we're together. All right, I'll proceed now. And I do hope I'm audible enough. And my network is cooperating. Okay, thank you so much for joining tonight. You know me already, you know my name, so no need for too much introductions. So today I'll be speaking to feminine communication. I'll be speaking to feminine communication rather. But before we start, please, I want us to just pray for 2 minutes. So wherever you are, I want you to bless the Father. I want you to bless the Father wherever you are. Please bless the Father. Oh, yes, no session is ordinary. No class is ordinary. There's nothing we're going to say here that is too carnal or too ordinary. Yeah, we're going to declare that even as we learn today, we're here for destiny. Okay? We do not just come to learn manipulation techniques and all of that. We're here for destiny. In the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus. Through this conversation, we become more refined. We become more refined. In the name of Jesus. All right. Understanding feminine communication. First things first, you can hear two words there: feminine and communication. If you're just joining, welcome. Please let me know who you are in the chat. Let me know if you can hear me clearly, if the video is smooth on your end, and all of that. So before I digressed, I was saying that through, thank you so much for giving us a like. Please give the video a like so YouTube can recommend it to more people. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do also subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. All right. So first things first, from the word feminine communication, you can hear feminine and you can hear communication. Please, I would encourage you to stay on the call to the end because I have a giveaway for those that stay to the end, because this is me celebrating TRW 4 years anniversary. So be sure to stay to the end. And if you have questions, please do well to type them in the chat, not on WhatsApp, in the chat. Thank you. Okay. First thing we're going to look at today is what communication is. A lot of us talk, but a lot of us don't communicate. So, beyond learning about feminine communication today, we're also going to learn how to communicate better. Now, one misconception people have, or one mistake people make, is thinking that feminine communication is only for romantic relationships. When you just hear people say, "Oh, I want to teach you on feminine communication," anything feminine, they just are assuming that we want to teach them manipulative techniques for men, manipulative techniques for how to get things from a man. That's what a lot of people assume a lot of times, but that is not true about the feminine. Okay, first things first, what is communication? Communication is basically a process of sending and receiving messages between individuals. If your message has not been received, you haven't communicated, you just talked. And for you to know your message has been received, there has to be feedback. So, communication is the process of sending and receiving messages between individuals. It involves sharing thoughts, feelings, ideas, and information in a way that can be understood by others. Please, I'm looking this way because I'm looking into my notes. So, I am with you, I'm looking at you, I'm talking to you. Okay? It involves the process of sending and receiving messages between individuals. Now, we're going to talk about two forms of communication today. We have the verbal communication and we have the non-verbal communication. Now, what is the verbal communication? It's a way of communicating that involves using your words, like I'm doing right now, right? I'm using both the verbal and the non-verbal communication. I'm going to talk about it briefly, right? Communicating using your words is verbal communication. Now, non-verbal communication involves your body language. So even as I'm speaking, for some persons that really read body language, you can tell if I'm anxious while I'm talking to you, or you can tell if I'm tensed. Do you see? So communication is not just talking. Please give me a second. I need to share the link to someone that's asking, and you get my full attention, please. All right, I think we're good. So, like I was saying, if you have not gotten a feedback, you haven't fully communicated, because communication is not complete except there's feedback. Do you see that? So if there's no feedback, no communication. And I was talking about verbal and non-verbal communication. And I said verbal communication basically speaks to talking, right? But non-verbal communication talks about your body language, your body language, the gesticulations I'm making, moving of my hands, how my shoulders are while I'm speaking will let you know if I'm anxious or I'm tensed while talking to you. Now, for every relationship, regardless of the type of relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship or relationship with your parents or your friends, platonic friends, regardless of it, every relationship thrives on communication. If there's no communication, that relationship cannot stand. If there's no communication, that relationship would shake, can break at any moment, right? Until the person that is listening to you or that you are in a relationship with feels seen and heard by you, that relationship is shaky and is not built on a solid foundation. Now, to the crux of the whole matter, the reason why we are here today, understanding feminine communication. What is feminine communication? Feminine communication is a style of expressing yourself that is rooted in emotional intelligence, empathy, respect, and relational awareness. It prioritizes connection over control and influence over force. Now, a lot of times, the feminine is explained or connected to or translated as softness, while masculine has to do with authority, force, energy, control. Now, this doesn't mean that you cannot be feminine and be firm, or you cannot be feminine and, exude authority. No, that's not what it means, right? But it's explained that way because guys or men are known to be the ones that, wield power, know how to give authority according to their natural desire or natural wiring, rather. That's what I wanted to say. Their natural wiring. They are known to be the ones that, exude more authority, exude more control a lot of times, right? Now, so it's basically a way, feminine communication now is a way of communicating or expressing yourself that involves the use of emotional intelligence, empathy, respect, and relational awareness. If you are talking to someone, thank you so much for what you're doing in the chat, Lily Okwe. I'm very grateful for you. I already owe you something. Thank you. All right. So I just lost my train of thought. I was talking about the feminine communication. Yeah. Let's quickly look at the key distinction or differences between feminine versus manipulative communication. I have to do this because a lot of people, a lot of times, mistake feminine communication for manipulation tactics. Most times, when you hear people say, "Oh, I want to teach you how to be more feminine, how to get anything from your man," they're basically saying, "I want to teach you how to be more manipulative," and that's not the whole thing about being feminine. I'm even going to um share my own femininity journey, how I stumbled on femininity, because I never knew there was anything like that in my whole life, right? I was in, I think it was the first or second year of my marriage, and I was reading the Bible one of these days, and I came across First Peter chapter, I think it's chapter 3, verses 5 to 7. And one of the verses there says that the beauty of a woman comes from possessing a gentle heart and a quiet spirit. And I began to ponder. I'm like, the Bible says the beauty of a woman is not just from outward adornment, but possessing a gentle heart and quiet spirit. And all the while growing up, they will tell you, "Oh, you have to work on your appearance, you have to look good, you have to." So a lot of times they only tell you to work on your outward, your appearance, your physical look, everything that has to do with the external. But very few people talk about the internal, which is having a gentle heart, which is having a quiet spirit. Now, when the Bible says a gentle heart, you cannot have a gentle heart and harshness is coming out of you. That is why we don't associate harshness with femininity. You cannot have a quiet spirit and you are everywhere gossiping about every single person, every single thing. A person with a quiet spirit hears God clearly part time. A person with a quiet spirit speaks with wisdom, because before you speak, you have thought it through. Do you see that? A person with a quiet spirit does not speak carelessly. So when the Bible says that the beauty of a woman is from possessing a gentle heart and a quiet spirit, it's saying that you can look good, you can take care of yourself, you can look perfect. But if you're going to be considered beautiful, you're going to be considered valuable, you're going to be considered um, with respect, you need to have a gentle heart and a quiet spirit. And then somewhere in Proverbs says, a gentle answer turns away wrath. So you cannot say, "Oh, you want to talk to someone and you're speaking to them really and you want to get the result that you desire," which is what a lot of us do in many relationships. So somebody offends you, you want to get an apology from them. And the next thing you know to do is to shout at them. I know that yes, you might be speaking based on the way you feel at that moment because you are angry, right? But a lot of times you've seen that what that thing would do is not never ever give you the answer or the result that you desire. It will rather give you a wrong feedback, because the other person will feel attacked, whether they are male or female, and they would want to defend themselves. So their egos would rise, whether male or female, and then they would dismiss whatever you are telling them, not because they don't think you are right, but because they want to protect themselves first. That is why we said feminine communication has to do with communicating or expressing your thoughts with emotional intelligence, with empathy, with respect and relational awareness. So, yes, every human being on earth should speak with respect, right? Every human being on earth should speak with emotional intelligence. But now we're talking about you, my darling. Do you see? Now, manipulation, on the other hand, is trying to use all of these things I'm going to teach you today for selfish gain, trying to make people dance to your tune by using these tactics that you're going to learn. So I wouldn't even call them tactics, or these techniques rather, that you're going to learn. So yes, some people say, oh, just be soft, just speak softly. You think just speaking softly would make you get whatever you want. So they use it for every and anybody. That is what some, what do we call them now, side chickens, used for some people, some men, just to get money from them. So you hear them say things like, thank you so much, Lady Okwe. You hear them say things like, you don't know how to get something from a man. That's not just because they want to teach you how to get to his pocket. That is manipulation. That is manipulation. And that's not the goal of being more feminine. Being more feminine has very little to do with manipulating people to get results, but becoming a better version of yourself. So you're not trying to be feminine when you want to get something, but you are feminine every day, every time people meet you. Do you see that? Now, masculine communication tends to be task oriented. They are leaders at the office. They are focusing on the next project. They're telling you, oh, have you worked on that document? Oh, they're giving you orders. But the feminine would not just give orders, they would inspire you to. That's the difference between masculine and feminine communication. Masculine communication is sort of direct, sort of straightforward, sometimes sort of authoritative. But feminine communication, on the other hand, is suggestive, is empowering, is inspiring. They don't come off as though they are trying to boss you around or give you orders. No. They rather come off as though they are trying to inspire you, encourage you to do that, and to be willing to do it. Do you see the difference? Masculine communication, they don't care whether you are willing to do it or not. They don't want to know how you feel at that moment. They just want you to get it done. Feminine communication cares about how you feel, cares about the time that he or she tries to speak to you, cares about how he or she wants to say that thing to you. Feminine communication recognizes that people have willpower, recognizes that people have the right to say no to you. Feminine communication recognizes that, oh, this person might not do it to my expectation and they don't need to be crucified for it. Do you see that? Feminine communication is graceful. Feminine communication is graceful. Now, why is it important that we learn to communicate in a feminine way? It is important because it creates emotional safety. It makes people feel safe around you. Your goal as a woman is not to become a boss lady to the point that nobody is comfortable around you, to the point that people are wary of you. People are afraid to be around you because they are like, "Ah, I don't want to go and say something now and she'll get angry. I don't want to step on her toes. I don't want issues. I don't want problems." Feminine communication is important because it encourages cooperation instead of resistance. So let's say you're leading a team at the office, and I used to be really, really guilty of this. I didn't know how to work with people. I didn't know how to communicate with people. And I used to think that, oh, it's just my thing. I don't know how to. But I got to understand that it's not really my thing in that sense, is that I was too authoritative. I didn't know how to relate with people, so I didn't know how to connect to them. I didn't recognize the fact that people have willpower. They can say no, they can choose not to do it. So I struggled a lot with that. So feminine communication creates emotional safety around you. It encourages cooperation. People would want to cooperate with you better. People would want to work with you better. People would like the energy around you and they want to come to you. Imagine a mother when you have a baby, your child. Do you know the way you hug your child or you play with your child? Oh, my baby. Oh, I love you. The way you talk normally is not the way you talk when you're playing with a baby. Why? Because you see them as, oh, this baby is soft, this baby is cute, this baby is tender. And so you communicate in a way so that they would receive you as someone that they can be safe with. But we don't do this when we want to relate with other people, others around us, other adults, because we just feel like you're an adult, you're supposed to know this already. Do you see do you see the way my voice changed? Did you see the force I used to say that? That's not feminine. You're an adult, you should know it already. But the feminine understands that even if they're adults, nobody knows it all. Even if they're adults, it doesn't mean I cannot explain to them. Even if they're adults, it doesn't mean I expect them to be perfect. Do you see? So now let's quickly look at some characteristics of feminine communication. I'm working with time before my employer wakes up. Okay, one characteristic of the feminine is warmth. Warmth. Even the word warmth is soft. Even the word warmth is soft, it's not hard. If you are going to communicate in a feminine way and communicate effectively, you need to learn how to be warm. You need to learn how to smile. Stop tying the world to your chest. The world has not ended. When Jesus comes and hey, and there's chaos everywhere, you need to be warm. And you cannot be warm when you're always this thing we always do. Relax those nerves. Smile more often. Be warm, not just to people around you, but to yourself also. You need to learn to give yourself grace. It is when you know how to give yourself grace that you will know how to give other people grace. This was something I had to learn because I learned how to be self reliant and not really rely on people as much. I became hard on myself to grow. So, because I was hard on myself to grow and I stretched myself to grow, I was hard on people too because I thought this was the only method to get people grow. And so I had a friend and I liked, coming close to me, coming around me, but I was too hard on this person. This person tries to be vulnerable with me, with their weaknesses. I go hard on them, highlighting their mistakes, overly critical. Guess what happened? With time, this person withdrew from me. And somebody like me might now come on social media and say, when God wants to uplift you, he takes away people from your life. It's a lie. It's a lie. Sometimes it's a lie. Sometimes you just don't know how to be warm to people. You just don't know how to keep people around you. I know that it's popularly said that if you want to have friends, you should also show yourself friendly. So you want to have people that can stand with you over time, people that can be loyal. You need to learn how to be warm, to be accommodating. Yes, I know that you have walls that you have built up over time. You're afraid of people like I have, or this genuine fear for people. But you need to learn how to let down those walls sometimes because you are not an island. You cannot live alone. You cannot do life alone. Do you see? Another characteristic of the feminine communication is gentleness. You need to learn how to be gentle. Something happened yesterday was Sunday. Something happened yesterday. I went to the market, to get groceries for the house so I could cook. And then my toddler was with me. I got him a bottle of Zobo drink. So he drank it and was already messing up his body. So I was in a tricycle waiting for other persons to come in and then we go back home. And I was angry, like, why did you spill this all over your body? And I used my other hand and threw it outside. I wasn't even looking as I was looking at my toddler that has stained his body, so that I can help him wipe it off. Right. But there was someone close by because it rained and the ground was wet. I didn't know that throwing the bottle the way I did splashed water on that person. Now this person turned and said, Madam, if you don't throw the bottle the way you did throw it, anything will happen. And I felt attacked. Was I supposed to say, oh, I'm so sorry, I don't know it touched you, right? But here's what I told her. You don't have to be rude to tell me I did something wrong to you. You can't be rude to me and expect me to apologize to you. The same way you expected me to do that thing better, you could have spoken better. And then the lady went quiet. And yes, I still did apologize to her, but I believe that was a teaching moment for her. You could simply say, excuse me, you splashed water on me. And I'm saying, oh, I'm so sorry, that wasn't intentional. But you just went, Madam, do you irritate you already? Have you observed something? Go on social media, just take a stroll. Look at different comment sections. Have you seen the way people are harsh? And we're complaining that relationships are not working. It's because a lot of us don't even know how to talk. We don't know how to communicate such that people get the message without being on the defensive or without being argumentative. So if you're going to learn to communicate in a feminine way to people, you need to learn how to be gentle with people. Learn how to be gentle. Everything is not fight. Everything is not war. Calm down. The next thing you should learn if you want to speak in a more feminine way is respect. Have this understanding that everybody deserves respect, including children. Because there's something we do as Africans. A lot of us don't respect children. We don't think their opinions should be regarded. We just talk to them like they are just objects that we can control. Every human being that is living and breathing deserves respect, deserves a form of respect. And here's the thing, if you give respect, you will in turn be respected. Because here's what, everybody wants to be respected. And when you treat people with regard, they will definitely not treat you with disrespect, except people that are naturally ill mannered. Do you see? And your response should not also be, being rash. Now, here are some ways you can respectfully communicate with people. Listen to them without interrupting. You see, ladies, we do this a lot. We complain a lot that men don't talk, men don't express their feelings. But when men are expressing their feelings, you interrupt them. He has not finished making a sentence. You have already interrupted him. Listen without interrupting. That shows that you respect them enough to hear what they have to say. You regard them enough to hear what they have to say. It shows that whatever they have to say is important to you. Respecting them also means paying attention to them when they're speaking to you. Look at them. Because remember, we have verbal communication and we also have non-verbal communication. So, in as much as people are talking, you should also pay attention to their mannerisms, their countenance, how they look when they were speaking. It will let you know if they're angry or if they're sad or if they are happy. Do you see? It's just like this exclamation we make in Nigeria. Mm. There's a way you say like I mean when someone is communicating to you, or you say to mean if I get you there. But if you're not looking at me, how would you know that one of these expression is what I'm referring to? Which is why sometimes there could be miscommunication when communication is only through text. Which is why we advise people that are in long distance relationship to a lot of times have voice calls. Not like chatting is not good, but there are some conversations that we have to hear your voice so that we know if you're saying when you're saying the thing, if you're angry, because I can hear it from the sound of your voice, or a video chat so I can see your face when you're talking. Because there's a way I can type something and you can misinterpret it. I mean, thank God for emojis, right? And somebody can also be rude to you and also add laughing emoji. Do you see what I'm saying? So if you want to learn feminine communication, I've mentioned three things now. I mentioned warmth, I mentioned gentleness, and I mentioned respect. Now, you have to be emotionally aware. We're getting in now. If you want to communicate better to someone, you want to communicate your feelings, you have to be emotionally aware because feminine communication involves emotional intelligence. So let's say you're angry, somebody stepped on you. At that moment, yes, it's painful. You can give the exclamation, "Oh, you stepped on me," right? But then take a deep breath. And if they did not apologize, that instant, you let them know, "I deserve an apology," or "I would rather you say sorry because what you did hurt me." Now, when you say that in a gentle tone, I doubt if that person would want to say, hey, if I step on you, uncle, because you were gentle. But if all you did is say, "Oh, you stepped on me. Don't you have eyes? Is something wrong with you?" Then the person will feel angry and sometimes even walk away. Sometimes would even face you back and say, "Do you have to insult me?" And then an argument begins. So you need to learn how to manage your own emotions. Let's say your fiance or your boyfriend did something to you and you are really angry. You want to place a call to him at that moment and say all sorts of things. Take a pause. Give yourself some time. Properly process what was done in your head. Ask yourself, Priska, what happened? Okay, this happened. I said this. My boyfriend said this. Yes, it's a lot of work if you're just learning it. But when you get better, it becomes a part of you. That's why I said feminine communication or becoming more feminine is not something you pick up today because you want to manipulate someone to get what you want, and then tomorrow you drop it back and become more as. No. So let's say your boyfriend offends you and you want to let your boyfriend know that he offends you. That's not the moment for you to just pick up your phone and start typing all sort of things. I regret the day I met you. Oh, and you now block him. No. That's the moment for you to process your feeling. Ask yourself, what am I feeling at the moment? Are you feeling anger? Are you feeling betrayal? Are you feeling bitter? Are you feeling sad? What are you feeling at that moment? Name your feeling. Anger. Oh, it's anger. Good, I'm angry. So, what should I do with this emotion of anger? What should I do with it? Should I just let it dwell there and build up, a bungalow inside of me and then become resentment and anger, which is what happens in a lot of marriages, right? Or should I communicate it? And if you tell yourself, okay, you want to communicate it, the next question you should ask yourself is, how can I say this thing to this person such that he will get what I mean and give me the feedback that I desire? The feedback you desire is apology. But if you just go to your boyfriend and say, you are always doing this, I've always told you, shouldn't you? Your boyfriend will be like, your wala is too much. If he's the type of person that does not like wala, he will just plug earphones in his ears and get on with his life. And you would now feel even more offended because you're like, you're snubbing me. I'm talking to you. Do you see that? But when you process it and you now say, okay, this is what happened, this is how I feel, you go to your boyfriend. That's when you're now gentle, right? When you're cool, when you've cooled off. Oh, XYZ happened earlier and I'm unhappy about it. This is how I feel about what happened. Name your feeling. I felt really angry because you did not respond in XYZ way. I expected you to defend me when XYZ happened, but you didn't do it and it made me really sad. And then when it comes to dealing with men, you have to let them know what you want them to do. You don't just stop there. It made me really sad. A regular man that doesn't really know much about relationship will just be looking at you. He wouldn't know what to say. And then you will let him know from there, oh, it made me feel really sad. I would rather you don't do it next time, but now please apologize to me. Yes. I know you might wonder, why would I say please apologize to me when I'm angry? You say it because you want the apology, not because you're not going because you think because you're going to demand the apology. You're requesting for it because you can choose not to give the apology and nothing is going to happen, and you guys are going to reconcile, are going to move on. Do you see? You're requesting that he apologizes to you because you don't like the way he responded. You have made excuses for him that he probably did not know how to respond better, so you ask for an apology. In fact, if it's someone that is even wise, while you're expressing yourself, before you even get to, or rather you, he would even say, I'm so sorry, I didn't know you felt that way. That is someone that is emotionally intelligent. But if you're dealing with someone that is not, you ask for an apology. I deserve an apology. You let them know. I'm someone that I've even asked my boss for an apology before. Because I'm not going to say that, oh, because you're my boss, you shouldn't apologize to me. No. That's how you teach people to respect you. See, whatever treatment you permit, you're letting people know it's okay to do that to you. And whenever I say this, I'm not saying you should always stand up for your right and fight. That's not what I mean. You can let people know this is how I want to be treated. I want to be treated in a soft way because I cannot handle hardship. You let them know. Do you see that? Now, one more characteristic, which is the last characteristic we're going to look at, that has to do with feminine communication, is empathy. That's what I mentioned earlier. You need to also learn how to show empathy. Yes, I know you are angry at this moment, but sometimes flip the card. Try to see things from the other person's perspective. Ask yourself, why did they do what they did? I know that some people can intentionally step on your toes, but that's rare. It's not always. Except the person is your enemy. Your friend will not just wake up and say, "Today I'm going to step on Priska's toes." No, except they're angry with you. So a lot of times people hurt us unintentionally. It's not intentional. Nobody wakes up and says, I'm going to hurt Priska today, not even I will tell me. No. So make excuses for that person. Show empathy. And when you show empathy, they in turn would learn to show. Remember, I said would learn to show empathy because not everybody knows how to show empathy. They would learn to show empathy also. Do you see? So now let's quickly look at some mistakes we make that we call communication. And we do this not just to men, but to women also and to children also. We nag. You complain. There's a difference between stating that, oh, you want something, you don't like something, and complaining. You're always, people complain a lot. And then criticism and condemnation. We say it's correction. And I've seen this a lot on social media. They'll tell you, don't focus on how it came, just take the correction. When the Bible says correct with love, do we think he didn't know what he was saying? Because he knows that there is a tendency for correction to come off as condemnation. So this is not even just a rule with talking to men, but also to women and children. When you want to correct people, recognize that they are humans like you. So instead of always criticizing, there is always someone that criticizes in every comment section. Somebody posts something. Oh, come with me as I go get XYZ outfit. Come with me as I go get this outfit. And then one person somewhere is already typing, it's not even fine, self, or it's too tight on your body, or you shouldn't have worn it this way. Do you see that? 1 second, please. Thank you. Someone is already commenting, you shouldn't have worn the clothes this way. You've not even complimented the outfit. You haven't even said, oh, this outfit is beautiful. Before you go ahead to say whatever you want to say, you just went ahead. The person, I'm not saying you listening to me, but the person just goes ahead to condemn, to criticize, to talk about what's not perfect. And we say we are having issues in relationships. More often than not, it's our character issues, it's our character deficiencies that are the reason why we have the kind of relationship issues we have, not even other people. And it goes round. Now, here's another mistakes women make: passive aggressive communication. And this includes silent treatment. You're unhappy with somebody, instead of saying it out, you just give silent treatment. You just go silent on them, you just ghost them, you just go quiet, you don't talk about it. You bury it on your inside, and it has been pressed, shaken together, it has marinated, it now spills over, and then there's an argument, there's an issue. That is a mistake. You shouldn't even do it. Shouldn't do it. Because here's what it does. When you take up all of these things and they are taking space in your heart, a time will come you will start resenting this other person that probably did not even know that they've offended you. You will start resenting them for what they did not even know they did that you did not like or you do not like. And then resentment, if it's not addressed, it graduates to bitterness. Do you see what I'm saying? So if you want to communicate better, you need to deal with all of these things. Or emotional withdrawal. You're talking to the person, no, but you have detached. This thing we call detachment, that we call dissenter. You have detached emotionally because they offended you. Another thing we do is emotional dumping. You just come to someone and you just express your emotion without control, just thinking that they should just absorb everything coming from you, whether it's anger, whether it's sadness. You're not even thinking about this person that is going to receive this thing. How is this person going to receive it from me? We do this a lot, especially when we are angry. You know, when we are angry, we don't think. So me, I would encourage you, if you're going to communicate better, especially when you are angry, pause and think before you do anything. Especially when you are angry, pause and think before you do anything. One more mistake, which is the last mistake I'm going to talk about, is that we ladies, we have mind reading expectations. We just expect people to know that this is what we want. I'm going to share an example. This happened some months back. So I was expecting my husband to do something for me. I can't remember the exact thing now. And I was expecting him to just know. Like there was a window of opportunity. I'm like, in my mind though, I was where I was pressing my phone. I'm like, can't this man get that this thing should be done? Remember, I did not say anything to him. And with time, I silently started, fuming around the house, without saying a word though. Just walking around there, you're just like, mm, mm. You just start making some kind of non-verbal cues, some kind of body language, and the person is wondering what's wrong with her. I started doing that. Until the thought just came to my mind, and the thought was like, you haven't said anything to him, so how do you expect him to know what you want? We women do this a lot. I know sometimes we are like, do I have to tell him everything? See, your feelings can only be valid when you said that thing and he did not do it, not when you didn't say it at all. Yes, I know that we expect people to, we expect them to take initiative. A married woman will expect that, oh, her husband should take initiative to help. But do you know that a lot of times it's possible that your husband's mind is not even where you think it is. So that thing you're expecting that, oh, you should take initiative to help, he doesn't even know. For example, talking about the roles in the home, we know that doing chores is a life skill, like we say today. But we also know that a lot of us grew up in homes where men were not made to see it as a natural life skill. So when you get married, you not expect that a man that did not grow up with that mindset that doing chores has to be my norm should now just take initiative without you saying a word. My darling, you keep having issues. You need to learn how to let him know sometimes I would need your help with XYZ. Yes, it's help. I said so. I would need your help with XYZ. I would need you to show up for me in this way. Learn to communicate it. You don't see, if you are angry over something you have not communicated, you are wrong, my darling. Until you have communicated that thing, your anger cannot be validated. Let it be that you communicated properly and the other person did not play their part. When your obedience is complete, then we can now validate whatever actions you are taking. We can now say, okay, I understand where your pain is coming from. Not when you didn't say anything. And I'm not saying communicating by ordering the other person around, even if it's your children. You don't boss them around. Do you understand? A feminine does not communicate in a bossy way. You communicate with respect, with warmth, with gentleness and empathy. Do you see that? Now, here is the language of feminine energy. Express your needs without demands. I've been saying this since. The feminine does not demand because you recognize that people have their willpower. And if they do anything for you, it's because they decided to, not because you made them do it. Do you see? It's because they decided to. If you tell someone, please come and help me do this, and they say no, there's nothing you can do. You can only shout. If it's your children, you can even only still beat them. But they will not do it well because they don't want to do it. When you force them to do it, they do it half-assedly. Sometimes you even get angry and you're like, you're spending too much time on that thing because they don't want to do it. So the feminine does not demand, she inspires. You inspire, you encourage, you make them want to do it for you. Do you see? You make them want to do it for you. You don't boss them around to do it. For example, you want to talk to your partner. You don't come and say, I want to talk to you. This is how you're always doing. You don't like listening to me. No, you don't say you don't like listening to me. You say, can I have a conversation with you? I really need you to listen to me now. I really need you. You're expressing the fact that you want them to. Do you understand? You don't just come and say, you need to listen to me. You must listen to me. If they don't want to, they won't. Do you see? Now, let me share another practical, experience that I think I shared it in one of my videos recently. My husband expressed a need to me some days ago, I think about a week now, and I didn't take it as seriously. I didn't know he wanted it to that, the way he expressed it. And then when he got it done, and I felt bad that, oh, I didn't do it for him, or I didn't show up the way he wanted me to. Now, here's the thing that's also happened to me severally, that maybe the way I communicated something to him, he doesn't think that, oh, it's that way and all of that. Then I realized this. Sometimes one reason why we don't know how to express what we want is because we're already afraid of rejection. We're already afraid that when we ask, they are not going to. But no, the feminine doesn't just approach them and you're now sounding like you're not confident. That's another thing. When we say you should be feminine, and so we're not saying have low self-esteem. We're not saying that you shouldn't know how to talk or you should be afraid of talking. No, we're not saying the feminine is not silence. When you're having a gentle heart and a quiet spirit, it's not a silent mouth. Quiet spirit is a spirit without this worry, constant worry of life. You're always worried. That's what we mean. Having a quiet spirit is not being able to talk. Quiet spirit is that there's rest on your inside. You are not in survival mode. You're not in panic mode. You're not consistently worried. You are at peace. That's what it means. That way you can hear God. That way you can really live by design. That way you can really be gentle and soft. A woman that is consistently in survival mode cannot be soft. A woman that is consistently, at the market, she's always, calling people to buy her goods. Oh, there's pepper here, oh, pepper here, pepper here. Do you think she will go home and say, hello, my child? No. She's going up to say, why will I never wash plates? You see, because she's tired and she's stressed. So the feminine doesn't demand. You don't demand. It's not an entitlement. You're not entitled. That's why I said if your partner does something, they are helping you. Whether it is a life skill or it is not a life skill, they are helping. They are helping. When you get to the point where you feel entitled to whatever your partner is doing, even if it is providing money, you lose appreciation, you lose value, and you don't know how to show regard for it. And that's anti-feminine. The feminine woman knows how to appreciate, recognizes that I'm not entitled to this thing. This person is doing this thing to me because they love me. And so you, in turn, you would respond with appreciation. You would respond with that same regard. This is how people grow in love. This is how you grow in love. When you have a partner that, is going the extra mile to put food on the table, you show appreciation for it. Thank you so much, my love. Your sacrifice has made it possible for food to be on this table daily. That will make them want to do more. And the more you appreciate a person for that something, when you call them next time, they would want to show up for you. I need to wrap up quickly. My baby has woken up. They would want to show up for you. Appreciation reinforces why do you think people that teach early year learners, they tell them good job? Because the more you say that, the more children want to do more. If you tell your child or a learner, oh, come and write letter A, and they are fussy, and then when they eventually come, they write the letter A, you're like, yay, you wrote letter A, good job. The learner will come and say, auntie, I can write letter B. Do you see? You have moved that learner from being demotivated and not willing to write to wanting to write another letter because you celebrated them. The reason why a lot of us struggle with appreciating people is because we are consistently looking at their imperfections. Nobody is expected to be perfect. Nobody. All this year, I will marry once, I will marry right. The person that you will marry right is going to be as imperfect as every other human being on earth. And so there are some shits you will have to deal with and accept. So how then do you now love this imperfect person that is annoying you to your bones? It's by paying attention to the beauty that they possess. Nobody is entirely bad. Pay attention to the value that they are bringing, no matter how little, and reinforce that value in appreciation. They will in turn want to do more for you, such that when you call them and say, oh, my love, I don't know if you can, but can you do the dishes for me? Can you? You're not saying, babe, I better wash plate for me. Or babe, plate there the sink, or wash them and they come and they come and they come. No. Can you do the dishes for me? I would really love it if you helped me out with the dishes. Do you see? It's not an entitlement. Even if they are married to you, even if you are earning more than they are, you're not entitled to it, because if they choose not to, they won't do it and you cannot do anything about it. Do you see that? Even with your children, the Gen Alpha and the which other generation do we have now? Gen Beta that we have now. Okay. Another language of feminine communication Thank you so much, Lady Rachel. Is using the I feel statement. I feel hurt when I'm ignored. You're not saying you're always ignoring me every time. That's how you are. You self look at the sentence. I feel hurt when I'm ignored. I would rather you pay more attention to us. Or I would love it if you paid more attention to us. Or it would make me really happy if you paid more attention to us. It's different from saying you don't even have my time safe. What is doing this relationship that I'm doing? This man, do you even love me? You safe, check it. If your child comes to you and say, mommy, you don't even have my time safe, how would you feel? You feel like all this suffer I'm suffering is for you. You don't see, no. But if they come to you to say, mommy, I'll be really happy if you can do this with me, even you by yourself, you will check the time and say, okay, I have 5 minutes. Well, let it be fast, let it be fast. Would you get it done? Yes, they have succeeded in making you do that thing for them. So feminine communication is inspiring others. Do you see what I'm saying? So when you want to communicate hurts, disappointment, use I feel, because that's how you felt. They didn't feel the same way you felt. You're trying to let them know how you felt when XYZ happened. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, the next thing you have to do when you want to communicate with people, I'm trying to rush because I don't know if you can hear my baby's voice. She's crying already. The next thing you want to do if you want to communicate in a more feminine way is using the right tone. Now, here's one thing a lady I know would say if you want to learn to communicate, in a feminine way. She would say, imagine that you're talking to someone that you love. Or, like I used the example earlier, imagine you're talking to an infant or a baby. You don't come to an infant and say, you, this baby, why are you so small? No. You say, hey, baby, you look so cute. How did I look when I said the two things now? You self check it. Do you see? If you want to communicate better, you should have it in mind that this person I'm talking to is someone dear to me, is someone I love, is someone I don't want to lose. Do you want to lose your baby? No. Do you want to lose your husband? No. Do you want to lose that friend that you love? No. Do you want to lose your parents? No. Even your hard parents would communicate better to you when you communicate in a feminine way. Imagine your mommy gets back from the market, for the ones that still live with their parents, and she's just shouting, why are the dishes not washed? Why? And she's just shouting, the house is messy and all of, and you just come and say, mommy, you look so beautiful, and you look tired. How was your day? Even your mommy that is shouting, why are the dishes not washed? She will calm down. She might even say something like, I'm saying the plates are not washed. You're asking me how was your day? You say, mommy, do you need cold water? It's not like you're not hearing what she's saying, but you're trying to get her calm down. With time, she'll calm down because nobody can keep shouting endlessly. Do you see what I'm saying? So when it comes to communication, it has to do more with you than the other person you want to talk to. And the goal of communication is that whatever you're saying is being received. If communication has not been received, then you have not communicated. You've only succeeded at just talking. Or if you're angry, you succeeded at just shouting and then you walked away. But when you get feedback from the other person, that is when communication is successful. Do you see that? So learn to choose the right tone. You learn to choose the right tone. It's just like I'm trying to teach you communication now, and I'm shouting at you now. Oh, you have coconut head. You will feel insulted. You won't want to listen to me. So the feminine does not use vulgar words. A feminine woman cannot just, if you have discretion, some kind of words cannot come out of your mouth because of who you are. Because you're feminine. Do you see? Because it's from within. So when it comes to relationships, marriage, friendships, know when to speak, know how to speak, know when to pause, know when to stop. Focus on issues, not the people. They are not the problem. You love those people. But then issues must come up. Your differences will play out. So focus on solutions, not winning arguments. Nobody is marking score that, oh, yeah, you gave 1 point. It's not a debate. Pick your relationship with that person over the amount of points you want to say. Would you rather lose that relationship and be right? Ask yourself always, would I lose my partner just to be right? Would I lose my marriage just to be right? Do you see? So, I'm wrapping up quickly. Well, this is almost an hour. Now, when it comes to feminine communication with children, like I've been using children as an example so that you don't think it only has to do with husband, husband, husband. Feminine communication is not just with your lover, it's with everybody. The way you talk to everyone. That is why even people that make videos online and the first thing they are doing is I've seen some ads where the first thing they are doing is shouting. I just swipe because I'm like, why are you shouting at me? That's how I feel. Now that way, I would not even want to click that ad to buy from it because I feel like the person is shouting at me. Do you shout at me to spend my money? No. You try to make me feel like this money I should not hold it, I should give it to you. Do you see? How do we celebrate a king? We hail them, we make them feel important. That is how to treat everybody in your life. Everybody. That is why we teach honor, right? Everybody. Now, speak to people to build confidence. The Bible talks about the Proverbs 31 woman, how that her words are filled with grace, her words are filled with wisdom. A person that speaks with wisdom inspires others to be more confident. If you say you are correcting people and your correction involves pulling down that person, then that's condemnation and not correction. I don't want to know the tone you used to say it. That's condemnation. That's not correction. This African thing that we do, that we say, and don't, it's not about the tone. No. If you have to pull down that person to correct them, then you have more character, you have work to do on your character. Correct people without shaming them. Any teacher that is correcting a child and says shame, 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 anti shame, shame, shame on you too. You correct without shaming them. Someone made a mistake, you don't need to make fun of them because they made a mistake. Oh, they are supposed to write letter G like this, and they now wrote it like this. You now tell the whole class, laugh at him, he doesn't know how to write letter G. It kills their esteem. The feminine doesn't do that. See, this is, I'm telling you, if you try it with the man that you marry, you will get that man open up to you. Because the man you marry wants to consistently impress you, but he has no choice. You are going to see his imperfections. So you, my darling, when you see his imperfections, you don't make him feel ashamed for being imperfect. You don't make him feel ashamed for being inadequate in some areas. Do you see what I'm saying? Once he feels inadequate, that's the problem. You are now stepping out of feminine. You now begin to criticize him. Masculine steps in. So active listening too would also help you. Active listening. Practice communicating. I want you to do something. Tomorrow when you step out, practice giving people compliments more than complaining about something that they did or they did not do. If you're leading a team in the office and you feel like they're not cooperating, compliment them more than you criticize them. Commend them for the good that they are doing more than you show them the things they are not doing correctly, even if you are paying them. Do you see? So that is it. So because you are communicating in a feminine way does not mean you should also not learn how to set boundaries, because some people are toxic. And because you are protecting yourself, you should learn how to set boundaries. Setting boundaries does not mean you just tell them, oh, get out of my life. No, it doesn't mean you just push people away. You by yourself will let them know. When they bring some conversations your way, you'll be like, I'm sorry, I'm not interested in this conversation. They're not going to beat you. Do you see that? You need to practice emotional. You need to be self-aware. Know what stirs you up. Know what stirs up anger on your inside. And know how to self-regulate. See, if you can master self-regulation, you can master controlling yourself. You can master how to communicate with anybody, anywhere, anytime. In fact, you can be a very good salesperson. Yes, yes, ma, I'll check her soon. I know she's hungry. We're almost done. Do you see that? If you can master self-regulation, you can communicate with anybody, anywhere, regardless of their color or tribe, because you know how to regulate yourself and you know how to respond to them. Do you see that? So in conclusion, because my employers, the ones that are not paying me money, they're already calling me. Feminine communication is not about being weak. A lot of times we say things like, how will I just be gentle? How will I just be quiet? They will see me as though I'm weak. No, no, my darling. That is even strength. That is even strength. Let me share one of these stories with you. I hope it's not on the call. So I have this employer that I started working with 2 years back, I think. So initially when we started working, I used to have back and forth with this employer. I'm coming, please. I used to have back and forth with this person, we didn't used to agree. And my employer is a choleric person. And cholerics now, they can be very, very, you know. And so I remember one of those days, this person was, on the wrong. I could have just said, I don't want to be on this person's bad side, though. I don't want to lose my job. Oh. I let the person know that this XYZ you did, I'm not pleased with it. I deserve an apology. That was what I said. I did not demand for it. I did not say you must tell me. I said I deserve an apology. And this person felt taken aback. I can't remember if he said the sorry then, but after that incident, till date, there is nothing that has happened that I deserve an apology and I did not get sorry for, and I did not demand for it. I didn't even say anything. There are times this person has even reached out and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, XYZ happened." And honestly, I did not even take that thing to heart that happened. But because from the instance, I had let the person know that I deserve being apologized to, the person treated me better. So when we teach feminine communication, we are not saying that people should just walk over you. We are not saying that people should not talk to you. We are saying that you should teach people how to talk to you better by treating them better. This is how to win in relationships. So if you gain the value from this, let me know in the chat. And I promised I'm wrapping up now so I can attend to my baby. I promised the members of the Referred Women community something. So if you follow this conversation to the end, after I end the live, let me know what you gain from this conversation and attach your phone number and the network, and you'll get an airtime from me tonight on YouTube. If it's on WhatsApp group, you are disqualified on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining tonight. If you have questions, I will attend to it on the group because I need to run along now. Please do well to share this video. If you have not liked, please hit the like button. If you've not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to this channel. The replay will be available whenever you want to listen to it. So that'll be all for today. Do have a lovely, lovely, lovely evening. I enjoyed doing this with you. Thank you so much for showing up. Bye, everyone.